Chris Haynes, our good buddy, TNT sideline reporter, host of Posted Up podcast with Chris Haynes, the senior NBA insider for Yahoo Sports. How you feeling today, Chris?
DP, I'm all right. I mean, it's a little frustrating watching those Celtics over the last couple of games. Just the way, golly. I have no rooting interest, DP. I don't care. I get paid the same no matter who wins or loses. But, God, I do like to watch good basketball. And sometimes, man, just watching these Celtics, especially over the last couple of games, man, it's just really frustrating.
But let's say somebody didn't watch the game last night. How would you sum up what happened?
Turnovers. That's what I was. Carelessness. They're showing their lack of experience, at this stage. I'm talking about the Celtics. This just looks like a team that it just looks like the stage is a little bit too much for them, especially when the game gets tight. It doesn't matter if they're at home or on the road. When the game gets tight, they shrink. And it's frustrating. Like this team, like they're throwing the ball, just throwing cross-court passes with no regard to who's over there. A teammate may be over there, a teammate may not be over there. It's really crazy how they've gotten to this point and been able to, you could argue, you can make the argument that they've had the toughest run to get to this point. Taking down Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, then the Miami Heat. And I was on that series for the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics for TNT. And I think Miami just got really banged up. Jimmy Butler wasn't himself through the latter stages. And I think they might have caught a break. But, golly, it's really frustrating to watch this Celtics squad.
But it's high-end talent, but it's disorganized high-end talent. And I'm wondering, usually you have a point guard. Usually you have but Marcus Smart is not that guy. And Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, while they're high-end talent, you got it's and sometimes that's contagious. The Golden State Warriors made ball movement look beautiful. When they first started, it was like, wow, extra pass, all those things. The Celtics don't have that capability. It feels like they're trying to be Golden State versus Golden State.
I think, you definitely touched on something, DP, when you talk about the point guard situation. I love Marcus Smart. He's the defensive player of the year. He does a lot for that team. Arguably, he's the heart and soul of that roster. But, not having somebody who can kind of set the tone and keep the offense going, making sure everybody gets into their sets and get into the right spot so they can get quality shots. That's something that's lacking right now. The turnovers from Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart are absurd.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, while their handles are they're okay. They got a nice tight handle. But when they're trying to penetrate in traffic, they lose the ball. They throw it away. Like, they have a difficult time trying to penetrate when there's somebody within arm's reach. And so it's, we're talking next year in the future, what they need to do moving forward. But in this series, man, they just got to play smart. And that's just something they haven't been able to do.
How would you sum up the Celtics defense on Steph Curry and why he had an off night, hit a historically bad off night?
They were smothering him, DP. I was very impressed on that end. They definitely wanted to clean that up off of the, historic game he had in Game 4. Coming off of those screens, he was clean off the screens. Robert Williams did a much better job, and Al Horford, in playing up off of the pick and roll. I think they were sagging back too much. You can't do that. Stephen Curry, you give him any type of space, he's going to make you pay. Stephen Curry didn't have those looks. The problem was they gave up looks on the other end to Andrew Wiggins and to Poole. Yeah. And so, it was just a tough situation. I mean, in DP, not to get back on the Celtics again, but I saw a stat that I believe it was by Stat News, and it completely caught me by surprise. Jason Tatum has had the most turnovers ever in a single postseason. That right there is cause for concern. Your best player having that many turnovers, you can't win that way.
Yeah, and I think people want to elevate him into that. There's rare,
I did.
Okay.
I did. I was one of those guys. I was one of those people. Look at the run that he had getting up to this point. You look at the fact that he's 6'8" and can dribble the ball. People say, he's reminiscent of a Tracy McGrady type player. But one thing I've saw DP in his game is that, he has a tight handle. And, I would say this to Jason as well, but, he moves when he's dribbling the ball, trying to get his shot. He moves east to west. It's like in his handles, he's trying to set up his jump shot. He has a real difficult time trying to penetrate, go north, go south, get to the basket. And that's going to be something he lacks in. He can get his shot because he's 6'8", 6'9", but is it going to be a quality shot? And then he's having problems, especially with Andrew Wiggins, and get to the basket. So I'm seeing a lot of holes right now that we just didn't see other teams be able to bring out. But, I was one of those guys, DP, that was saying, win a title, elevate some of the superstar status. But, even if they are to win the title, DP, say they do come back and win the next two, I don't know. It's going to be up to him and Jaylen Brown, who's going to get the finals MVP. I don't know if it's hands down Jason Tatum. So there's a lot that we saw.
Yeah, and there are 2 games left. If you're a Celtic fan, you hope there are 2 games left. And if they win Game 6 back home, and then you go on the road and maybe he has one of those historically great nights, and they do win a title. He's only 24. I just thought the Celtics as a team were a year away, and I think Jason Tatum is a year away maybe from joining that rarefied air. Like the Greek Freak, Luka. There's only a couple of those guys that are truly great. LeBron may not be in that group anymore. Just because you're first team All NBA doesn't mean you're up there where you take over a series. I mean, I think we were hoping he'd be, or maybe we were rooting for him to be. But at 24, that's a lot to ask, and it feels like the moment may be a little too big for him. Maybe this game in Boston helps him. But if I said who is your MVP right now, though, Chris Haynes from Yahoo Sports,
I will have to go with. This is me. People may hate me. I'm not giving my MVP award to a losing team. So even if Steph, I can't say it. Steph will have to go off, just have crazy, crazy numbers and lose for me to even consider him. But as of right now, with Golden State being up, he would be my finals MVP. But Andrew Wiggins is not too far behind. There's still a lot of game left to be played for anybody to have that award.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Reggie Miller yesterday, and he said he thinks Steph Curry, even if they lose, is the MVP. Now, this is prior to last night. I said, You can't give it to Steph if you didn't give it to LeBron the year that Andre Iguodala got it. LeBron was unbelievable. You gave the MVP to the guy whose sole job was to guard LeBron, and LeBron averaged almost a triple-double. You can't do, unless the voters go, we made a mistake back then, we're not going to make a mistake this time around. Steph was wonderful in Game 4. He was not good last night. I have a hard time giving him the MVP in a losing effort if they would lose these last 2 games.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, DP. And, I don't think I voted. I can't remember. I don't think I voted that year that Iguodala got finals MVP. But, there's still a lot of game left to be played. He had a great Game 4, not so great Game 5. And Andrew Wiggins, even in Game 4, he came through big time for them down the stretch, and he was the best player of Game 5. So the award is up for grabs. But DP, to your point about Jason Tatum probably being on the cusp and making first team All NBA, we got to keep in mind the Milwaukee Bucks were not whole. Keep in mind the Los Angeles Clippers were not whole. We talking about first team All NBA and knocking down the door. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they're going to be back. I think the Lakers will be back to a certain point. I don't think I don't think we'll see the same type of season. So these moments, I overheard some of the Celtics when they were walking out of the arena. I overheard them saying, "Man, we got to capitalize on these moments," because you think just because they're a young team that they're going to be back.
Yeah.
And so they understand it. Like they understand the magnitude and the opportunity that they have. I just don't know if they can execute for a full 48 minutes. They just haven't shown it at all this series. They should be 3-1, up 3-1 in this series. You know, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Safe travels to Boston. Thanks for getting up early with us, Chris.
DP, for you, I'll drink my coffee and jump on here.
Thank you,
anytime, brother.
That's Chris Haynes, senior NBA insider for Yahoo Sports. He was such a gift to us during the pandemic. In the bubble, he was wonderful. TNT sideline reporter and host of Posted Up with Chris Haynes, his podcast.